Even though this video is titled Spoilers, I just want to give a forewarning. I am going to be going over the plot, some of the kills, and the details, and I'm going to lay it all out there. So if you guys have not seen this or you're looking forward to seeing it, great. If you haven't seen this, it should be probably enough of a breakdown because I'm not going to describe all the goriness. I'll just say, hey, this was gory, this is brutal, these are the scenes that happen. It'll be a lot of that, and if you don't mind any of that, then continue to watch the video. I appreciate you guys watching, but I'm going to go over this movie. I've liked it a lot. I've seen it twice. Let me give you the plot. Let me give you details. Let me give you some of the lore. Hey, right on. Let's continue on. Terrifier 3 opens up with an absolutely brutal, no-holds-barred way to set the tone. I mean, if this doesn't set the tone for the rest of the movie, I mean, I don't know what else would. Regular family of four, basically nuclear family, husband, wife, 2 kids. They're getting ready for Christmas, right? Well, their little girl is curious about Santa, wants to be super curious about Santa. So she sets out cookies, does all that stuff. And she goes downstairs when she hears footsteps, and she sees a clown. Well, a clown is not a clown, he doesn't see a clown. She sees Santa. It's a clown, though. It's Art. Art is there, dressed as Santa. She realizes that when he pulls a big-ass axe out of the bag, right out of the old Saint Nick bag. Pulls that right out, and she goes to hide. He goes upstairs, and through the child's eyes, you see him go through the kid's room, and you just hear it. You don't see it, but you hear him killing the kid. So this movie's not messing around. It kills kids. It kills everybody. Everyone is on the table. Anything's on the table. They're not messing around in this. So anyways, that's the beginning so far. The little girl sees that, and she watches him from the staircase, because it's a 2-story house, goes to the parents' room, where Art hits the husband in the neck, because they're sleeping already. They're getting ready for Christmas. Kills him. The wife gets up, runs to the little boy's room, and then you get to see what Art did to the kid, and there's just body parts everywhere. It's messed up, man. I can easily see why people probably saw that beginning of this and were like, oh no, I'm good. I'm totally good on this. No, and they noped right the F out of there. So she tries to run away, runs up to the front door, gets an axe to the back, and the little girl freaks out. And then it doesn't really show the little girl get killed, but it's implied that she dies too, because Art picks up the cookies, dips them in milk, and that's the start of the movie. And he takes a bite of that. Boom. And now the movie is on its way. Flashes back to after the second movie. If you saw the second movie, Sienna chops Art's head off. She leaves the sword behind. It was like this magical sword that survived a fire. If you haven't seen the second one, there's some stuff on it. It's like her dad is implied through the second one that he kind of knew that she would be this avenging angel and whatnot. But it flashes back to the end of the second movie, and Art stands up headless while the cops are circling the scene, and he kills both the cops. He takes one of their heads, he goes under like a subway train, puts the head on his own head, and there's like a guy who shows up in an Art mask. It's implied that he kills that guy, takes his mask, puts it on, and now we got the full Art the Clown back. So Art the Clown is back, and then it cuts from there, and it goes to Victoria Hayes, which Victoria Hayes is from Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 2. She's the one at the end of the movie who survives but gets like all the acid on her face. She's super disfigured. In the second movie, at the end of the movie, she like kind of gives birth to Art's head. It's very weird, very disturbing. But she escapes with the help from Art, and they kill Chris Jericho's character during that. Like, he's like a security guard there at the end of the second movie. He probably just wanted to roll, whatever. They do that, and now they escape from that, and then from there, they cut to Sienna, the heroine of the story. But she's been pretty much implied that she's at like a facility because everyone thinks she's crazy, whatever. But now she gets to go live with her aunt and uncle and her little niece Gabby. Well, they're unsure about her, and they think she's kind of crazy because nobody quite believes her. But she was released, so she's able to resume a normal life. And as she kind of goes about that, she's seeing things. She's seeing all sorts of like crazy, demonic, weird shit. She's seeing a lot of stuff from like, because in the clown world in the second movie, like that's actually like a part of hell that the demon that's possessing Art can go into, and it takes her into there. It explains that a little bit later on. But anyway, she's seeing that. It's still messing with her. She's going crazy, or she thinks she is, because nobody believes her, and even barely her brother kind of believes her. But she starts to remember more and more about her dad, and she gets to do some more research on him. And she gets some books and everything, and gets to see that he's somehow connected. It hasn't really fully explained it, but through his drawings and everything, he's able to draw out like her whole costume in the second one, where she's like this avenging angel, and she's on this mission, and she's going to be fighting demons and all this stuff, and all of it basically becomes true. And she's like, how does my dad know about this? And they kind of brief over that. I think that the fourth movie will deal more with that. Maybe they'll connect some of it, because the ending kind of implies some of that. But she's seeing things that aren't there. She's going a little crazy. And then it cuts to, like, showing what her brother did. I thought Jonathan was the weakest part of Terrifier 2. And in this, his acting has got a little bit better, but he's still not that good. I think he's still the weakest part of Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3. He's probably still the weakest part. He's just not that good of an actor. But he's trying to blend into college life now. And the college kids that he's around, all they want to know about is this crazy story that his family was on. Of course he would. Who wouldn't want to know that? And so he's dealing with that while trying to be a normal kid. And then his sister gets out, who's trying to call him, and he doesn't want to deal with it. Doesn't want to deal with it at all. And he's just trying to avoid it. So then you learn, so now we know where Sienna's at. She's with the uncle and aunt. Jonathan is at college. And now it cuts back to Art. So Art, this shows where he gets the Santa suit, because the Santa suit at the beginning, like I said, it's actually, that's kind of more forward in time. So it goes back in time, and now it's showing how he got the suit. He goes to a bar, and this is where you get some like pretty crazy, insane kills. Like all the kills in this are over the top. They're extra gory. They're almost unnecessary, but that's the kind of movie these are. If you don't want to see that, these movies are, pass on them. I understand why people don't like them. It's fine. But he gets the Santa suit from a guy at a bar. There's 3 dudes there. He kills them all in very kind of intricate little ways. And then as he gets the Santa suit, or since he has that, then he ends up going to a mall. And Sienna's at the mall, and she thinks she keeps kind of seeing him or glimpses of him. And he's dressed as Santa. And he goes up behind a, like, where they have the sit down with Santa type of thing. The main Santa guy goes and takes a break. And then Art comes out. And this is where, I'm not saying it lost me, but a guy kind of covered in blood, dressed in a Santa suit, and then they're letting their kids come up to him. I'm like, okay, this is a little ridiculous, but whatever. It's for the movie. So kids are going up there, and like people are like tripping out, and they're like, that's not our Santa. And he leaves his bag there, and the bag has a bomb, and he literally blows up a bunch of children. Like, they straight up just murder a bunch of children. I don't even know how many it is. It's like a mall Santa it's a Santa mall filled of children, just like, or like that area in a mall, like the center, boom, blows it up. And they just like kind of don't acknowledge it again. There might be like a little TV thing in the background. But at some point around this, like Sienna has realized that Art is back. Like she hears about the bombings, and she realizes that that was a real thing. She really did see him, and she's like, she's freaking out. She's like, she starts doing the research, and then she learns more and more, and she's believing her dad's research, and then she's like, well, I got to get the sword back. She's like, I need to go back to the Terrifier, which is the ride in the second movie. The Terrifier is actually like a roller coaster type of thing, or whatever, or it's like a maze in the second one. But she left the sword there. She wants to go get the sword because that thing survived a fire. It was the only thing that worked on Art. So it's implied that she goes and gets it, or she wants to go get it. And she's talking to her little niece, Gabby, about it. But it doesn't really show her go get it at all. And then what ends up happening is Jonathan's college roommates get killed by Art because they're tracking him down. Like Art and Victoria are tracking him down because they want to get back at Sienna. So it doesn't show them actually get Jonathan, but they find his roommates, and Art kills them with a chainsaw in like a dorm kind of bathroom, and it's fucking brutal, man. Like that thing is messed up, and it gets crazy. It's kind of like if you see a movie and you see somebody just hit somebody with a chainsaw, and like all of a sudden their arm goes flying off. It's like, nah, this is probably what would actually really happen, and there's like resistance, and it's a tough watch, man. Not gonna lie. And then from there, cuts back to Sienna. I'm doing just a quick review of this, by the way. It's a quick spoiler review, but these are the main talking points of this. And so it goes back to Sienna. She goes back to like her aunt and uncle's house, and she can't find her aunt, uncle, and Gabby, the three people she's living with. And then she gets captured by Art and Victoria. She gets taped down. They realize that the uncle's already been killed. He's like strung up along the fireplace. He's just like, he's dead. He's as dead as it gets. Then the aunt is tied down, and they take a tube, shove it down her throat, and throw rats in the tube and light the end on fire. We've seen that in other things. Usually they do it to the stomach, and the rats want to burrow in. This one they do it through the throat, and then cut her open, and the rats come out. It's gnarly. It's kind of vicious, man. And so then the aunt dies, and then they put a skull on the fire mantelpiece, and she thinks it's Gabby's skull because that's what they're telling her. Victoria's the only one that talks. Art doesn't talk, so Victoria's talking. And what it comes down to is actually Victoria, it basically shows she's like a demon possessed, or she's possessed by a demon, and the demon wants to take over Sienna's body. We've seen this in other horror movies before. We want the young, fresh, healthy body, the good-looking body. The demon wants to take over her, and they want her to give in. They want her to just lose faith, lose all that faith that she has in everything. And it even shows that to the point where they take a crown of thorns and put it on Sienna's head just to show like an extra little dig at, angels versus demons type of thing. Or if you want to say God versus the devil. So they even put a crown of thorns on her head. And through that, she like almost kind of gains the strength through that and kind of fights back. But then they reveal that the skull is possibly Jonathan's head, her brother, because they put his glasses on there, showing that they at least have his glasses, but we never seen him actually die. So he actually also might be not dead. He might not be dead. But at this point, she's thinking he's dead because they bring out Gabby, and Gabby's like pleading with them. Gabby's the little niece. And they don't know what to do, and they're like about to kill Gabby, and she's like, couldn't I at least give you my Christmas present? And because it's Christmas, there's a Christmas tree, a bunch of presents, and she goes and gives her a long box, and inside that long box, ta-da, the magical holy sword is in there. So she grabs the holy sword, and right before that though, like her hands are busted up by Art the clown, and it kind of shows that the sword gives her power because she gets up and like ends up chopping off Victoria's head, stabs Art. Art jumps through the window. Like he leaves out a window. You kind of don't see it, but it's implied he leaves through a window. But she chops off Victoria's head. When she chops off Victoria's head, her blood opens a portal to hell that Gabby falls into. And as Gabby is falling into it, she takes the sword and holds it by the blade so Gabby can have the sword while she's essentially falling into hell. And then it cuts her hand, and she loses grip. So Gabby falls into hell. Her niece falls into hell. She's left there with nothing, and she looks down at her hands, and her hands heal up instantly, showing that she's been like blessed in some kind of way. So she is blessed in some type of like holy energy or something. Something about what she's been doing is the right thing to do. She's fighting demons. It's angels versus demons, basically. Like, they kind of showed that in the second one as her being an avenging angel. This one just went a little bit further with it. It showed that there is demons. They're both demon. Art is a demon. Like, he's possessed by a demon. His body was. It was just a bad killer dude who got enchanted by a demon. Maybe it was the same killer, just as in demon form. And then Victoria, same thing. And so I think the fourth movie is going to be Sienna finding a way into hell because she knows it exists, because she's seen the clown cafe thing. So I think that'll come back in the fourth, the Terrifier 4, and it's angels versus demons. It'll be. I have a few other theories, but I'll have to expand on them at another time because I've only seen it twice. But that's what I've gotten out of it. It's Sienna's like an avenging angel. She's trying to kill these two demons, and these demons want revenge. And the other thing one of the demons wants is to actually be in the real world as like a young, fresh human being, probably a psycho human being. But at the end, you just see Art on a bus covered in blood, and they go off. And I'll say the same thing I said about the first thing. The thing that's kind of hard to take in is when like Art's covered in blood and he goes into the mall and then he blows everybody up. It's like nobody would let their kids near that guy, but they do it for the sake of the intensity of what happens, because it's messed up, man. It's crazy. But that's all the spoilers for it. The main lore comes down to angels versus demons. Like they're angels. All right, Sienna seems like an avenging angel, almost Christ-like, and then the Art is basically a demon, and then he had an accomplice demon who was kind of controlling his ways, but he's still a demon in his own right. So we'll see how it goes with the fourth one, because I think this movie is doing really well, and it will continue to do well as long as they, continue to produce good stuff like this. I think the acting was a lot better in this one. Even like Sienna, I actually thought was a little bit better in the second one because her character was a little bit stronger. In this one, it gave her a little bit more range, but because she had to play like a low person coming back up to a strong person instead of being kind of medium and then going strong, because she was strong at the end of the second one, and I really liked her character in the second one. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I didn't get into the full amount of kills. Like that's pretty much all the kills. I just didn't go into the gruesomeness about them. But if you've seen these movies, you know how they go. But that's the breakdown. If you think I missed anything, let me know. And if you like this breakdown in the review, also let me know. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome, man. Peace out.